Really?
Everything.
British room, somebody run off with it.
20 minutes. Brand new pair of clippers.
You could put 10 sticks and mag tip them. No, how many? 10.
Pierson Town Council meeting, Tuesday, July 7th at 6:30 p.m. will now come to order. Yvonne, would you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Vice Mayor Robert Greenland.
Here.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson.
Here.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson.
Here.
Councilwoman Brandy Peterson.
Here.
Town Attorney Scott Simpson.
Here.
Town Planner Mark Corrett and Rebecca Cottle.
Here.
Deputy Clerk Ryan Smith.
Here.
And the Volusia County Sheriff is present.
Thank you, Yvonne. Lindy, would you please lead us in prayer?
Gladly, sir. Let us pray. Dear Lord, we come to you tonight with great thanks for our ability to gather. And I thank you especially for this life-giving rain. Dear Lord, I want to thank you for parting the skies Saturday for us to celebrate the birth of our great nation and our wonderful town. Dear Lord, as we consider the business before us tonight, I ask you to please guide and inspire us to make the best decision for this town as a whole. And I ask these things in your great name. Amen.
Amen. Please join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, our first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes of our regular meeting minutes of June 16th, 2026. Are there any additions or deletions?
I have none.
I move to approve regular meeting minutes from June 16, 2026.
Motion to approve the minutes of our regular meeting, June 16th, 2026. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Richardson, Councilwoman Richardson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, on new business, our first item is ordinance 2026-08, annexation Stacy Jones on its first reading. And I'm going to turn it over to our attorney, Scott Simpson.
All right, I'll go ahead and read the title for first reading.
Just one question. We're going to talk about all three of these ordinances together.
To read all three?
Yeah.
Okay.
A, B, and C.
Yep.
A, B, and C. Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. No, actually,
that's
we
fine.
usually
Thank
do
you,
that.
Mark.
Yeah, we'll do that. So I'll read all three together, and you can either vote on them individually or vote on them together. You'd probably vote, I would say probably voting on them individually would be a better thing to do because some are legislative, some are quasi-judicial. So, okay, A is ordinance 2026-08. This is by title only for first reading. An ordinance of the town of Pierson, Florida, annexing by voluntary petition certain real property owned by Stacy Jones bearing the parcel ID number 4825-00000016, 4824-00000020, 4930-00000022, located on the northwest side of Washington Avenue, plus or minus 1,847 feet north of Phelps Lane, with the address of East Washington Avenue, and located contiguous to the town of Pierson in accordance with the voluntary annexation provisions of Section 171.044 Florida statutes and other controlling law, redefining the boundaries of the town of Pierson to include said property, providing findings, providing direction to the town clerk to record the ordinance with the clerk of the circuit court, with the chief administrative officer of Volusia County, and with the Department of State, providing a legal description and map, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability, providing for codification and the taking of administrative actions, and providing for an effective date. Item B, ordinance number 2026-09. This is a comprehensive plan amendment for the same piece of property. An ordinance of the Town of Pierson, Florida, amending the Town of Pierson Comprehensive Plan as previously amended, providing for an amendment to the future land use map and the future land use element relative to certain real property containing plus or minus 59.85 acres total, owned by Stacy Jones, bearing parcel number 4825-00000016, 4824-00000020, and 4930-00000022. Located on the northwest side of Washington Avenue, 1,847 feet plus or minus feet north of Phelps Lane, with the address of East Washington Avenue from Volusia County Environmental Systems Corridor and Agricultural Resource to Town of Pierson Conservation and Agricultural and Rural Residential Future Land Use Designation, providing for legislative findings and intent, providing for the assignment of future land use designation to the property, providing for implementing administrative actions, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, providing for non-codification, and providing that this ordinance shall become effective upon adoption of ordinance 2026-08. Item C, ordinance number 2026-10. This is rezoning the same piece of property, and this is for first reading by title only. An ordinance of the Town of Pierson, Florida, providing for the rezoning of real property totaling 59 plus or minus 59.85 acres total, owned by Stacy Jones, bearing parcel ID number 4825-00000016, 4824-00000020, and 4930-00000022. Located on the northwest side of Washington Avenue, plus or minus 1,847 feet north of Phelps Lane, with the address of East Washington Avenue, from Volusia County A1 Prime Agricultural and RC Resource Corridor to Town of Pierson A1 Agricultural and C Conservation zoning districts, providing for the adoption of map by reference, providing for implementing administrative action, repealing all conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, providing for non-codification, and providing that this ordinance shall become effective upon the adoption of ordinance 2026-08.
Thank you, Scott.
I'm not sure I got all those zeros right. There may be one or too many in there. So,
Okay, Mark, do you
Don't
have
hold me to it.
anything to add? Rebecca?
Yes, so Mr. Jones is requesting to annex of his nearly 60 acres, 22 and a half acres would be designated agriculture and rural residential, and the rest, which is 37.35 acres, would be designated conservation. He is not proposing to subdivide the property at this time, but if at some point in the future it were to be subdivided, the maximum density increase between the county's future land use and the town's would be 2 additional units. He's also requesting to rezone from the county's agricultural zoning and resource corridor to the town's ag zoning and conservation zoning. One of the parcels is almost entirely submerged as a pond. His primary motivation is that he has started building a barn for his daughter's wedding, and when he approached the county to permit the electrical components of the barn, they do not recognize the property as having an existing ag use, so permitting the structure would be simpler through the town. He also has other property that are in the town and would like them to all be within
Right,
town
yeah.
limits.
Yeah. He owns property that joins this property.
Yes. And both staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission are recommending approval of the annexation, the future land use amendment, and the rezoning.
Thank you, Rebecca. Does anyone in the audience have anything in regards to this item on the agenda? No? Okay.
all three.
All three?
All three items.
Yeah, okay.
Move to approve ordinance 2026-08 on its first read.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to approve ordinance 2026-08 on its first reading. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jimmy Anderson. Yvonne, roll call vote, please.
Yes, sir. Councilwoman Brandy Peterson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson,
Yes.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland.
Yes. Okay, moving on to 5B, ordinance 2026-09, comp plan amendment. Al,
Move to approve ordinance 2026-09 comp plan amendment on its first read.
okay, there's been a motion made on ordinance 2026-09, comp plan amendment on its first read. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Randy Peterson. Yvonne, roll call vote, please.
Yes, Councilwoman Brandy Peterson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson,
Yes.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Ordinance 2026-10, rezoning on its first reading.
Move to approve ordinance 2026-10 rezoning on its first read.
There's been a motion made on ordinance 2026-10, rezoning on its first reading. Is there a second? There's been a second by Jimmy Anderson. Yvonne, roll call vote, please.
Yes, Councilwoman Brandy Peterson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson,
Yes.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland.
Yes. Okay, moving right along. Item 5D. Ordinance 2026-07, assessment procedures on its second reading, and I'll turn this over to our attorney, Scott Simpson.
Ordinance number 2026-07, assessment procedures for second and final reading by title only. An ordinance of the town of Pierson, Florida relating to funding of capital improvements and essential services through the imposition of special assessments, providing the procedure for the imposition of such special assessments, providing definitions and findings, authorizing the imposition and collection of special assessments to fund the cost of capital improvements and essential services, providing a special benefit to real property within the town, authorizing the creation of assessment areas, providing for the optional and mandatory prepayment of assessments, establishing procedures for notice and adoption of assessment rolls and for correction of errors and omissions, providing that assessments constitute a lien on assessed property upon adoption of the assessment rolls, establishing procedures and methods for collection of assessments, including assessments imposed on governmental property, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. I can go over, or do you want to give a motion first? I'm sorry,
Why don't you go over
Okay.
it first, please, Scott?
This is second reading. This is step one of setting up, and this doesn't create any assessment. It creates the process by which we can adopt assessments in the future. And it's not just, we're right now looking at the garbage assessment, and that's why this is being done, but we had the ordinance written in a way that it allows us to do other assessments, which, depending on the constitutional amendment, may become very important in the future. And that next meeting, we will have the resolution establishing the garbage collection, or saying that, whatever, garbage collection assessment at the next meeting. The difference is these assessments will go on the tax bill to be collected instead of being billed directly to the property owners. Property owners should notice they've been getting garbage service and they haven't getting any bills. Well, this assessment's going to, the first time we do the assessment, we'll talk a little bit more about this next meeting, but it's going to be larger than normal because it's got to include the 6 months of this year, plus all of next year's 12 months. So it's going to an 18-month period. After that, it's just going to cover 12 months. This particular ordinance does not actually create any particular assessment or levy any assessment. This just puts in our books the mechanisms to do that in the future, which next meeting we will do.
Any council have any questions?
No, I have none.
Anyone in the audience have any questions regarding this? Yes, Lester.
Lester Pulley, 363 North Pine Street. Scott kind of already answered my question, but if this passes, you can assess the residents for anything. It's say you need road maintenance.
Well, I wouldn't say anything, but we can create assessments.
So if you need a road maintenance, you could say we need an assessment to do road maintenance.
I don't know if it's assessment for road maintenance. It has to benefit property, the real property. So garbage collection is the first one you're going to see.
Right.
The next one, we haven't even talked about it, but I'm telling you what you're probably going to see next, fire assessment. Because the county is actually going out for an RFP to look at doing assessments for the whole fire district, and it included Pierson and their fire, and doing an assessment.
This could be a replacement for the property tax.
It is absolutely a replacement for property tax on things that you can charge assessments for, and it has to benefit the property. For instance, we cannot fund law enforcement services with an assessment. Courts have said that does not benefit the property.
You can do fire, but you can't do law enforcement.
Yep, and you can do fire, but you can't do EMS. So when you go through the setting up the value of the fire assessment, you got to do a study to back out the cost of the EMS service. It's only the fire service that can be levied an assessment. So there's special rules on what can and can't be an assessment. And that's why I just wanted to, I kind of cautioned on the saying about the road maintenance. I can't say for certain that would qualify. I haven't researched that issue. It may. I'm not saying that won't. But I can tell you for certain, police, law enforcement services, we cannot collect on assessment.
But assessment would have to go through the council before it's...
Absolutely. Yep. Like you'll see a resolution next meeting for the garbage collection assessment. If next year after that, if they want to set up a fire assessment, you'll see a similar resolution for the fire assessment. And each year, most likely the resolution would come back before this body and the new assessment would be adopted by this commission. And it's a two-part process. You tentatively set it in July, which we're doing with the garbage assessment next meeting. Then we'll have a public hearing during the budget and millage rate process. There will also be a resolution adopting the actual special assessment. And it will show up on the trim notice from the property appraiser. So when you see all that information, property appraiser, it will also include the assessment, and the assessment will then show up kind of on the bottom of the, I don't know if you've ever seen one of those, they've got all the millage rates, and then they have the assessments underneath, and they get your total tax bill. One of the benefits is you will get the 4% discount by paying early in November. By the end of November that you get on your property taxes, you will get that on the assessment as well. So,
Thanks, Scott.
okay.
Anyone else in the audience have any questions regarding this? If not, the chair would entertain a motion.
Move to approve ordinance 2026.
Brian, you got anything, or Yvette, you got anything to add? Okay.
Move to approve ordinance 2026-07, assessment procedures, on its second and final read.
There's been a motion made on ordinance 2026-07, assessment procedures, on its second and final reading. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Jimmy Anderson. Yvonne, roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Brandy Peterson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson.
Yes.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland.
Yes. Thank you, Yvonne. All right, moving right along. Item 5E, Pierson Lions Club proposal. Lions Club President Philip Hughes. Philip, welcome.
So as I stated last time, we had a hard time getting a proposal together. As a group, as a whole, we voted on the proposal that I have in front of you. The Pierson Lions Club respectfully submits this proposal to establish a long-term lease agreement with the town of Pierson for the continued operation, maintenance, and management of the Pierson Rodeo Grounds. The club is committed to preserve this important community asset and ensure it remains available for public and community use. The Pierson Lions Club proposes a lease agreement with the town of Pierson under the following terms. A lease term, 10 years, annual lease payment, $100 per year. This long-term agreement will provide stability for the continued maintenance and operation of the facility while supporting community events and activities. Maintenance and management. Throughout the lease term, the Pierson Lions Club will be responsible for routine maintenance and general upkeep of the Pierson rodeo grounds. The club will work to maintain the property in a clean, safe, and functional condition for the benefit of the community and all the authorized users. Used by the Pierson Saddle Club, the Pierson Lions Club recognizes the important role of the Pierson Saddle Club and the community and agrees to make the rodeo grounds available for its use at a rental rate of $300 per day use. Scheduling and use of the facility will be coordinated to ensure the grounds remain available for community events while being properly maintained. Commitment to the community. The Pierson Lions Club has a long-standing history of serving the citizens of Pierson through volunteer, community service, and civic engagement. By assuming responsibility for the management and maintenance of the Pierson Rodeo Grounds, the club seeks to preserve this valued community resource while reducing the maintenance responsibilities of the town. The Pierson Lion Club appreciates the town's consideration of this proposal and looks forward to working cooperatively to ensure the continued success and availability of the Pierson Rodeo Grounds for current and future generations. I explained to my members that this is a proposal, not a contract, that your legal would go over it or y'all would come back with your remarks. I know at the last meeting workshops, you said that you would continue to mow it. I didn't put that in this. But we have already started doing some maintenance for the rodeo. I know Mike's been out there and sprayed underneath the bleachers, Roundup and stuff like that. So, anyhow, that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, I see we got two representatives of the Pierson Saddle Club here. Would any of you ladies like to make a remark?
I'm Missy Monk. I live at, do I have to give the address?
Pardon me?
Do I need to give my address
Yes,
again?
please.
1246 Cowart Road, Pierson. I'm the president of the Pierson Saddle Club, and I've been doing it myself for probably 4 or 5 years with the help of Kathy Buttons, who's been doing it several years longer than I have. The relationship that we have with the town is fine the way we have it. I was not around when the town or the Saddle Club was underneath the Lions Club, but from what I've been told by previous officers and members, that there was some kind of falling out, and I don't really know. I can't really tell you what happened, but it wasn't good, supposedly. I myself, as the president, do not want to pay the Lions Club. To me, that is the town of Pierson's property. If we have a problem, we fix it. It's just like if you want to throw a baby shower somewhere, you go to 2 or 3 different places to decide, do I want to rent this? Do I want to rent that? You don't go somewhere and say, well, I would rent your building, but you got to do this, 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 and this before I rent it. You choose. And I don't feel where it's the town's responsibility to cater to, not to just to us, but to anybody who wants to rent it. That's all I have to say as of now.
Thank you. Thank you.
I agree that, I respect them for their opinion that you don't want to pay the Lions Club. I respect that. Your little club is very fiscally modest. You don't charge admission, as most horse shows do not. And you girls work your butts off up there. I don't want to see us having the Saddle Club pay the Lions Club, nor do I want to, especially with the possibility of some very financial changes looming towards the town with the property tax deal. I don't want to enter into a 10-year contract with anybody. That's my opinion.
Brandy, do you have any thoughts?
I've said before, I said the last meeting, we've just spent a pile of money in the past 5 years on that rodeo grounds. I don't want to see just handing it back over to the Lions Club, so I vote, I'm going to say the town keep it the way it is, and then we have a contract with the Lions Club if they want to run it like we currently do.
Jimmy, do you have an opinion?
No, I can't say either way about it, because I know Kathy and them always was over there spraying, doing little things off and on. The whole time I used to be over there mowing. They were always over there doing something. I don't.
Well, I'm going to, because I've been a part of both of these situations, where the Lions Club had it rented it from the town. Back then it was $1 a year, I believe. And I have been part of the Saddle Club for a long time up there while it was like it used to be. And I never thought there was any problem other than the time that its past president, who is no longer with us, I do know there was a squabble between him and the Saddle Club, but that gentleman is gone. And I think, and I talked to a gentleman yesterday in regards to this situation, who we all know, and who we all know and respect, and has been involved in both, and he thinks that it should go back to the way it was before, and let us lose all the responsibility of any upkeep and maintenance to the rodeo grounds.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, that's how it was supposed to have been historically, right?
That's how it was historically, yes.
But we spent $7,000 one year and I believe $13,000 or $14,000 a couple years prior to that on wood for the bleachers.
Exactly. That's why.
And the new fence that we put up.
Yes, exactly.
And
that's
all
why.
the electrical cameras.
And all the electrical work that was done, yes.
That is why I believe, and this is just my opinion, that it should go back like it was before. And the town would have no cost other than mowing the grounds like we always have.
Yes.
What other than that, what other cost besides upkeep is there to have?
Well,
I mean, we're saying, you're saying just for the rodeo weekend? Are you saying all year long?
I'm saying
For everything, like give up our responsibility and hand it over to the Lions Club about that property?
that's how it was in the past, and that's how. And if it would have stayed like that, we would not have had those expenditures that we've had the last 3 or 4 years.
But it also needed all of those.
I know it's upward to $20,000.
But it also needed those expenditures because the Lions Club was not taking care of it when it was their turn to take care of it. Or we wouldn't have had to spend all of that money. That's just my opinion.
Yes, and in the old contract, it plainly stated that they were responsible for upkeep and maintenance. And that did not occur.
One of the things I think you need to distinguish between, and that's, if we were going to go down this way, we would have to have this discussion further. There's a difference between repair and maintenance and replacement. Think of like your equipment. You repair and maintain a mower, but it gets to a point where the cost of repair and maintenance exceeds the value, so you replace it. So if lightning strikes out there and you got to put in new lights or a new electrical system, is that repair or maintenance, or is that replacement? And so I don't know if what they're proposing, when I hear repair and maintenance, so that would have to be clarified, Does that mean anything that happens out there, they fix it regardless of what the cost is? Or does there come a point in time where the cost shifts to the town because of what it is? It's not really maintenance and upkeep anymore. Now you're doing more of a capital project. I think I heard mentioned we put in electrical fence. If that's a new electrical fence, well, that's not repair.
We didn't put that
Or
fence,
a new
just
fence.
Just fence, yes.
Was that repairing an old fence, or was that
Yes.
replacing a fence?
Tearing down an old fence and
Putting
putting
in a
up a
brand
new
new one. So,
Repairing an old fence.
so we do, those type of questions would have to be clarified just to make sure everybody's on the same page. Because I know in landlord-tenant situations, you get into those in commercial situations where the tenant's supposed to maintain, like for instance, you maintain the air conditioner. But that doesn't mean the tenant replaces the air conditioner when it breaks. Who does that? So at what point does repair become replacement? And we would just have to clarify that, just to make sure. Now, if everything's covered, then we got the question about liability insurance and things like that. Those are the two things I think of at this particular point in time that we have to address.
Is this proposal for next year? Because did we not already vote to accept everything for this year at a couple meetings ago?
Yeah.
So is this for going after this year's rodeo we're talking about?
Right.
Yes, correct.
Great. Just verifying.
I think instead of taking action on this, then
We've got time to.
Yeah, we've got time, and I believe, Philip, you and our attorney probably need to get together and hash out a few things. What that might be is, I'm going to trust our attorney to get what needs to be done.
And I can send some comments to staff, and you can just meet with staff, and they all can talk with them and go over that stuff.
But at this juncture, I'd like the relationship with the Saddle Club to remain as is as well.
We need to table.
What is Saddle Club currently paying the town?
$2,500 a year, I think.
200
200
a
a day.
use a month, basically,
200.
which is a day.
Bobby, I make a motion to table Pierson Lions Club proposal to a future meeting since we have time.
Okay, there's been a motion made to table Pierson Lions Club proposal. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion made and a second. But first of all, before I do that,
Yeah,
is there
that
anyone
question.
who would like to make a remark in regards, again, to this item?
Quick question, if it were to go to the long-term with the Lions Club, is the Lions Club going to be the sole rental of that place? So if anybody wanted to rent the arena or the concession stand, they would have to go through and get approval from the Lions Club versus the town?
Well,
That'll be,
With the proposal.
This would say.
That's what this
That's
is
what-
saying.
so in other words, he would be able to they would be able to sublet it to
yeah.
anybody they chose.
Correct.
When they wanted
No.
to, basically. They would be in charge of it other than the name. Is that what I'm understanding from his proposal?
That's what this proposal is saying.
Okay. And I also like to state that you guys said that y'all spent all this money, which I know you have, but for the few years that I've been there, the only time you guys have to spend that money is when the Lions Club Rodeo wants to appear. We have never asked y'all to spend thousands of dollars for anything. I think the only thing we have ever asked is the boys to drop some sand for us at convenience when the storm came through. And they gave us, the day we were spraying, I ran out of Roundup and they gave me some of their jug. Other than that, I do not rely on the town to do what we want done. So I know you guys have spent the money, but I also like for you to realize that you've been spending that money for one group who uses it for one weekend a year. And if they start subletting it and they start finding all this stuff to make them money, why aren't they doing that now to help their town? Why aren't they going out and saying, oh, we have a place here in our town that you could rent this arena and the money would go back to the community, which would be the town. But I'm against the Saddle Club working with the Lions Club to pay them rent.
I agree, Missy. I
I'm
agree.
just not going to do that. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Missy. Anyone else? Yes, Phil.
Yeah, I'll do a rebuttal. So, I hear the cost. 2020 took it back over. Just so you know, every year prior to that, the Lions Club has always hired an electrician to check the lights. We paid for that cost. We have replaced boards on the bleachers. We have done other maintenance. Just so happens that year after you took over, you said you were going to cover those costs. That's something we do every year for our event. And keep in mind, our event that we have currently is 2 nights. If it rains, we make no money. If it doesn't dry out before the event, we make no money. Them lights go out, we make no money. The money that we do make goes back to the community. We give out money all the time. I've told you this. Your voters get that money. Please keep that in mind. We are doing this to keep this rodeo and the grounds there. I'm an agricultural man. I love rodeo. My family rode in Saddle Club. They do practice nights at night sometimes. They use the lights. I don't know why we can't work together, the two groups, and make that thing phenomenal. Renting it out, yes. 2-night event cost me $60,000 to put it on. If it doesn't happen, I got to have money to keep that up. The only way you get money.
We've only asked you for $200. You have only paid this town $250 for a 2-night event every year. It's not like we're asking you guys to pay. We've asked every nonprofit to get their permit and pay the fee.
And then all the
And
nonprofits.
now you're asking us to take it for $100 a year. So
Which is more-
there's $150 less dollars for the town of Pierson right there. But you're giving it back to the community.
This is more than a $1 a year. I have a contract. I can show you the original contract, or one of the original contracts from 1972, 1974 for 20 years. I only asked for 10 years. And it's just like any lease agreement. That contract, you can put stipulation in there or something to make it where you take it back over. I'm sure. I mean, I'm going to tell you, your lawyer's going to look at it, but I'm going to have a lawyer look at it too before we sign. I mean, that's only smart business. You know? So
As of right now, what maintenance needs to be done over there?
it's the same thing every year. Check the lights. Check the boards on the bleachers.
The boards are going to always need replacing because nobody puts polyurethane or anything on the boards when they're put there so that they don't bow like this in a year after they're baking in the sun.
Yeah, they're open weather. I mean, it's every year. Nobody can afford to replace all the boards on the bleachers at one time, so we do a few a year.
And we
You know,
have
whether
done
the
this.
town pays for it or we pay for it, it's got to be done. You got fence around there, it's going to have to be done. I mean, the panels that are around the arena aren't going to last forever. Those posts rot. We all know that. It's always going to be maintenance and upkeep, no matter what we do with it. Whether it's a soccer field, a playground, or anything, there's going to be maintenance and upkeep, and everything like that has a cost. So, anyway, that's our proposal, and, you know, it's up to you guys on what you want to do. But I think if you're going to charge anybody $300 to use it, we should be charged the same price. Doesn't matter how much money we make, because that's none of your business. It's really not. It's like me going after you. How much you make for your business? It ain't none of my business. You set the cost. Everybody should be equal. I've already said it, like the Civic Center.
If that's true, you're going to charge the Saddle Club $300 per use, and they're paying us currently $200 per use.
And we're paying $250 per
They're going to
use.
be paying $100 more per use of that arena over there, per this contract.
And we're paying.
So I'm trying to look out for everybody, and all I ask to do is keep it back in the town, and for tonight, to table this so we can have further discussion on it, because it doesn't affect this year's rodeo that we already approved for y'all to use the arena, and that we have the maintenance on it. What needs to be done? The lights, 13 grand. We don't have 13 grand to
That's
do lights.
replacing the lights. And just so you know, I've got Lamar getting with Fred Huff, getting a quote to see, because here's the other thing. Those lights, I don't know. Hopefully we can fix them. Fixtures, light fixtures. they get to where you can't get parts. It's just like tractors or anything else.
We've dealt with it all up here.
Exactly.
It's all old
So
stuff.
we're
that
trying
has
to
be
prepare.
repaired.
We know they need to be replaced because you're not going to be able to get bulbs, you're not going to be able to get ballast, things like that. So we have to address and think about those things. So anyhow, I just want to throw that stuff out there. That's my thoughts and opinions, and, if you don't hear it, if I don't say it, you don't hear it. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for being
Thank you, Philip. Okay, there's been a motion on the floor and seconded that the Pierson Lions Club proposal is being tabled. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Okay, moving right along. Item 5F, Lions Club Rodeo and Public Works.
I'm
Council
gonna
member.
forego that.
Okay, we'll forego item 5F. You tabling it or foregoing it?
Forego it. I mean,
Forego it, okay.
We're gonna be
Scratch it.
discussing,
Yeah,
right.
we'll just scratch it. Okay, item 5G, Millie Jo Turner, 381 West Pine Street water meter. Millie Jo, you've got the floor.
Okay, and I live 465 East Franklin Street. That is not my address. I have been paying the water bill for 39 months. I would come, and not a drop has been used to my knowledge. I don't think the guys even checked the meter. I would like that turned off, and that piece of property we cannot sell because 6 feet of the property is on somebody else's land. And the town of Pierson won't talk about it. A couple of years ago, I went to see I'm still paying the water bill. I went to see the office and the land, and they said that piece of property should be grandfathered in. We should be able to sell it and get rid of it and not have to worry about the water bill. But we can't because it's on 6 feet of the building is on somebody else's property. My sister-in-law and I cannot sell that property. We can't do anything with it.
But
And
what-
I'm still paying the water bill. I'm paying the water bill.
What 6 feet is, the 6 feet is on the packing shed?
It's on
the other people's
on
property?
other people's property.
Oh, Lord.
And I was told by the county of Volusia it should be grandfathered in. And that should, but then I've been told that the town of Pierson does not do that. So,
I don't know what you mean in grandfathered in. If somebody else owns it,
You got to find a buyer who's willing to purchase it, even though it's not on there. You can't get clear title to it.
we can't get,
Right? So it's not us that's causing
right,
the
yeah, it's
problem.
not us, it's
That's not something
regulations.
that's not something that's normally grandfathered. Then you basically, whoever built that building, built it on someone else's property.
but they said because of the way they surveyed in 1946, my land is different where I live too. It goes this way. Because of it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I don't want to have to keep paying this water bill. Probably $1,000 for the 39 months I paid it.
There's no one living in that house currently, are there?
No.
The house is not.
And it's about to fall down anyway.
Nobody's lived in that house since 1977. So, but we can't get rid of it because of that. So this is why I'm saying this.
Well, we agreed to take out Miss Hagstrom's vacant abandoned house.
I think we ought to do the
I
same
think-
for Miss Millie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you paid $1,000. I'm paying y'all money for nothing. So the city's made money off of me.
Billy Joe, well, I'll leave it to the council, and as far as I'm concerned, the town
Needs to,
will take that meter out, and you'll quit getting billed for it. So, but I want this to be put in a motion, so
I
not
move
just what I say.
to remove the water meter from 381 West Pine Street for Mrs. Melly Jo Turner.
Okay,
I'll
the name of
second
Pearl
that.
Turner,
And
but I'm
there-
like to
There's
stay.
been a motion
Yes.
made to remove the water meter at 381 West Pine Street, and it has been seconded. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Ryan, do we have an availability fee?
Yes.
So if her meter still is pulled, does she still get an availability fee charge?
They're voting to remove it.
Well, I'm saying, do you charge the availability fee regardless of whether the meter's there?
According to our ordinance, we are supposed to charge a minimum fee for every residential property.
Regardless of whether it has a meter?
Right, but that's not what she's asking. She's asking to not pay a water bill anymore. So the council is voting whether or not she's going to get a water bill.
But they voted to pull the meter. My question is, does pulling the meter mean she doesn't get a water bill?
I mean, if there's no meter there and we cancel it out, there will be nothing to bill because there will be no meter in our meter book to bill.
Okay, I have a bill that's due by the 10th, haven't paid it yet, do I pay that? Have I paid that last bill I got? $13, I've been doing this, that many years.
When did you get the bill, Millie Jo?
Oh, I got it the first of the month, and I have not paid. I pay it by the 10th. I may have been late one time because I got it in that drop box after 4 o'clock.
Has it been paid this month?
No.
No, that's what she's asking.
Pardon me?
That's what she's asking. If she has to pay it, I say she doesn't have to pay it if we're taking it out.
Okay.
I had to pay it this month.
No. Need to have a vote, though. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. All right, Millie, your meter will be removed, and you don't have to pay the $15.
Jimmy seconded it.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jimmy second. Okay, moving right along, 5H, 1928 meeting need. Crystal Ann. Crystal? Hi there. State your name and address, please.
Crystal McNally, 110 Fountain Drive. I'm the owner of Meat and Eat Kitchen. I want to take a moment to address the community regarding the upcoming League of Cities dinner. First, I want to reassure everyone that my team and I will remain fully committed for delivering a successful dinner for your professional event. And,
Crystal, pull the mic down a little bit, please. There you go. Thank you. Okay.
So we are fully staffed and ready to provide a quality service, and a commitment has not changed. At the time, I believe it's important to also address the recent situation, following through a walkthrough and a meeting that where all of our expectations met, logistics, plans that we discussed, and there was an additional conversation after that was approximately 14 minutes long. I found that tone and manner of that conversation to be unprofessional and inconsistent. I want to express my disappointment that the concerns were discussed publicly and that my business was criticized on public platforms rather than being brought directly to me. Open and honest communication is always the most effective way to resolve questions or a misunderstanding. Had members of this council reached out to me personally, I would have welcomed the opportunity to address any concerns immediately and professionally. Despite the circumstances, I remain focused on what matters the most, and that is ensuring that the League of Cities dinner is a success. My team will continue preparing for the same level of professionalism, attention to detail, and dedication that we bring to this event. I value the opportunity to serve this town and hope that moving forward we can work together with mutual respect, professionalism, and direct communication. My commitment is to the success of this event and maintaining the integrity and reputation of my business. Thank you for your time, and I also want to there is a balance that will be due 7 days prior, so I'd like to get that situated and paid for and everything. And I plan on bringing a nice meal to the town of Pierson, which we were able to discount at almost $3,000 to help your budget. I feel really disrespected in a way that I run a business in this town and that our council members would not come to me professionally outside or a simple phone call or email, and instead it was publicized on social media, YouTube, Facebook for 14 minutes long. It's very disappointing. But I plan to do the best job that I possibly can, and I will take pride in this. I've never defaulted from anything for any catering event, what may be hearsay around this town or what may not be hearsay. If there's anything that is miscommunicated, please come to me directly in the future.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.
Welcome.
just, when is our,
23rd.
the 23rd? Yeah, that's, when is that?
Thursday.
A week from, 2 weeks from Thursday.
Yes.
Good deal, good deal. And when does Crystal do her balance? A week before, week prior? 7 days prior? Okay, okay. All right, thank you, Crystal. Okay, moving right along. Item 5I, potential spending freeze, Councilmember Lenny Richardson. Lenny, you've got the floor.
Thank you, sir. A lot of cities throughout Florida with this potential property tax amendment looming are already making some drastic changes. And one of the things they are inundating is a immediate spending freeze in their cities and towns, unless it is an absolutely mandatory expenditure. So I don't know. This is a very serious issue that we have the potential to look down the barrel of, and thought I would just bring it up.
Right, well, you're correct, and this ordinance, or not ordinance, but this amendment that's going to be put on the ballot in November, it will definitely hurt small rural agricultural communities like ours. But I've got a feeling that it's going to pass. So it's a good time to go ahead and bring it up. I thank you for that, Lenny, and it is something that we're going to have to really sit down and think things out in the very near future.
Well, between now and then, we also have budget. We also
Right,
have
yeah.
to put our budget together. We have a lot of work to do between now and ballot time that we can make some
Well,
different
understand that
changes.
this isn't going to affect this year's budget.
Right, correct.
It's in next year's budget.
Correct.
And what I mentioned in response to the question, it's probably going to be something that y'all need to consider. Is, if the county goes forward with it and does an assessment instead of millage through their fire district, and I'm glad they included, I think, Oak Hill and Pierson with that, that will free, that's what you need to do. You either need to increase assessed value or you got to free up millage. One of the two. That millage rate in the fire assessment is over 3 mills.
Right.
And that gets added to your 10 mil cap.
Right.
Well, that goes away because they're going to pay for it as an assessment. Now you have 3 mills. What would that generate? 3 mills. How much per mill you told us one time? Like a 90,000?
Well, it's like 5.2439 is what we're at now. I don't know how much it is per mill. I might have to do
Like every mill, when we were talking to the sheriff, we said if we went to our full maximum millage, it would generate a certain amount of money.
I have to do some math on it. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay. But that will...
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
You're going to free... There's two things where I think actually y'all are probably a little bit better positioned than some jurisdictions. One, you can free up, you can go and contract with the fire department, the county fire service district, and set up an assessment to pay for that to free up millage. Secondly, depending on where we go with the sheriff's contract, y'all are very close to being in a position where you don't pay. You're just saying, look, we'll take your service as an unincorporated area,
Right.
and so. Between those two things, you have the potential of freeing up significant funds for the city. So other cities can do that. I mean, all the jurisdictions are looking to do fire assessments, even ones that have their own fire department. They're just not going to pay for it out of general fund anymore. They're going to pay for it with an assessment. Everybody's looking at doing that. And that's probably going to be the thing that saves a lot of jurisdictions. Because that's the two most expensive things you have in a city are police and fire. That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
Everybody's doing studies right now, and the county's doing it. Holly Hill's doing it. I think Edgewater's doing it. So everybody's going to go down that path. I think Port Orange consider it. It's just fiscal responsibility. Is it going to save the taxpayers any property owners? No, it's not going to save them a penny because they're going to pay the assessment and the potential for higher taxes. So it doesn't help the property owners at all. But what it does is it frees up your budget. So you do have millage available. And then the other thing you can do, what really hurts you, as you indicated, over 60% of your property has either ag or homestead exemption. So that's a lot of your property. We got to grow the tax base. And that's bottom line. That's how you either free up the millage or you grow the tax base, or a little bit of both. So, and growing the tax base spreads the cost over more people.
Lanny, do you have anything
No,
regarding?
but item J kind of,
I was going to say,
Yeah.
item J kind of falls right in that same
Yes.
category.
a contingency plan. A lot of the towns, the county, Volusia County, I spoke with Jeff Brower this morning, are working now on a contingency plan, on a what if. I know the state is going to require that we come up with a 10% deduction in your budget. So I think we probably need to workshop this. I'd like to have Scott in attendance for that workshop if possible. And a lot of them are acting on it like now. They're not waiting. So,
I've not heard the 10% thing.
It's budget, it's Senate Bill 4F and House Bill 1329 that DeSantis signed. So what it basically says is the rollback tax rate, the rollback millage rate is now the standard. That's what they want you to go with.
Oh, okay.
If you choose to go with anything higher than that, you have to do a budget exercise where you attempt to cut 10% of your budget without affecting law enforcement or essential services before you can vote by I think it's let me see, millage rates up to 110% of the rollback rate required 2/3 vote, and
That's what the law
millage
is
rates
now.
above 110% of the rollback rate require a unanimous vote, a 3/4 vote for larger governing boards, or approval by voters through a referendum. So if we're, every year we stay with our same millage, we don't use the rollback, but we don't go all the way to the maximum. We always stick with our 5.2439. But if we don't go with our rollback this year, which is 4.8 something, then we have to do this 10% reduction workshop. I know what that means.
It's not a cut, it's an exercise. You have to demonstrate what your budget will look like with 10% less.
Which for the town would be $120,000 of a budget that we're already going to lose $150 by 2028 if this passes. So you're talking, almost $300,000 that you'd have to reduce things further by.
Well, does everyone in the audience understand what's going on with this proposal? Our budget is going to be significantly cut if this amendment passes. And so, yeah, I agree, Nanny, that we should have a workshop with Scott. How soon do you think we should probably do this? Before?
Well, I don't, that law only applies if the amendment goes through, right? Or is that law
This is
applies?
signed into law now.
So does that affect this budget?
1329.
Does it take effect for this year's
It took
budget?
effect July 1st, so it will
Okay.
affect this upcoming fiscal year.
Okay, so we probably do it
So
soon.
we need to do that then before.
Because we have to set a maximum millage. We have to do a workshop for that here in the next few weeks, because that form is due by, I think, beginning of August, which we all, usually in our millage, then we do a preliminary millage at the highest, and then we go down. But still, there's rules now for you to even vote, to go with the higher number, so.
A lot of this stuff is going to be played out in court to interpret all this stuff? You know, what he just read?
Yeah, he signed this on the 24th of June, and it went into effect July 1.
Okay, and that's for this upcoming fiscal year. But if it's a process, you go through the exercise, and you still just vote.
All right.
I mean, we just make a good faith effort. It's sort of like collective bargaining.
All right.
Just don't engage in unfair labor practices, and you'll be fine. You can do whatever you want. So.
Okay. Well, you want to set a workshop tonight or at a later date, or? Pardon me?
Set one tonight.
You'll set one tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
You think, Scott, you think you need to be there for this first one?
If you know, there's things in that law that if it passes, that a lot of people don't talk about, which I think are actually worse than the law. But the thing everybody talks about. So we can talk about that kind of stuff.
The 13th through the 16th, you have anything?
The 13th, I'm good. 13th is good, 15th is good, 16th is good.
Pardon?
13th, 15th, 16th is fine. Just the 14th is the only day I'm busy.
So,
Let's do it Monday. Is Monday okay with y'all?
sure.
What time?
I don't care.
4. Can you be here by 4? Later?
That's fine.
Okay, the 13th at 4 o'clock.
The 13th to 4 o'clock workshop. Okay, you got it, Brian? Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Okay, contingency plan, that was Jay, right, correct? Lenny?
Pardon?
That was- Okay. K, item 5K, Town of Pierson water valves. Councilmember Lenny Richardson.
Thank you. So we had another issue with a break at the laundromat a couple weeks back. And once again, we're unable to isolate that quadrant of town. I'd like to maybe have Ryan get with rural water, somebody. We need to be able to at least isolate 4 quadrants of the town.
I agree.
Yes, we can call CWS and they can come and they can repair things under full pressure. But that's just very expensive. If we could isolate something on our own accord and make a repair in-house, I think it would be a wash. I think it would equal out and we'd be much better off.
I agree. I agree.
Can I ask, were you not able to, was it because there was no valve, or was it because there was a valve and it
but they've
could?
never been exercised.
Okay, so that would be the first thing you need to do. You need to identify where all those valves are.
We have blueprints.
Yeah.
And then you got to go exercise them, identify which ones work.
Right.
And then, so you'll have to replace some of those valves, and then you have to look at, do you need to add additional valves? Because I'm sure, this is what happens in all small systems. One of the ways to save money when you're putting a water system in is cut out the valves. Right? And so I'm sure that's what happened. That's probably why you guys are deficient on valves compared to some of the other cities in terms of their ability to isolate stuff. Then I think you got to, this isn't general fund
Identify
stuff,
them first.
right? So you have to identify the ones that work, find out which ones don't, work on those, and then figure out where you want to add additional valves, and then just work on that over time. You got 2 different types. You have isolation valves, right, and you have insertion valves. Isolation valves are, they're expensive, but they're less expensive than the insertion valves are the ones you do under pressure. And those are the ones that are like $25,000 to $40,000 just to install. The isolation valves are $2,000 to $4,000, like brand new. If you were just doing brand new development, now you're going to retrofit, so you've got to dig down, and de-water and all that, so that's probably 3 to 5 times that. So, 6 to, what did I say, 6 to 12, as opposed to 15 to 40,000 on the other ones, so.
Okay.
But we do have a blueprint.
Yes.
Yeah, you do have a
Jimmy,
blueprint. I don't
where
know.
they all work one time, didn't you?
I still do.
You still do? Are some of them inaccessible, though? Isn't that the
A lot
problem?
of them's not workable. If you go to messing with them too much, you break it.
Yeah. Well, we need to look at that. We need to look at that blueprint.
Lewis has got one in his truck.
Does he?
But like I told Lewis, the more you work them valves, the worse they get now.
Now, yes. Yeah.
Because they've been so
they're
old.
35 years old.
They're
36 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They only work so long.
Well, that's something we need to start working on, though. We need to identify.
Right, and when you do get the new valves in, you got to exercise.
They're pretty well all marked. If you go by a corner,
Yeah.
you'll see a blue valve. And they got most of the time, they got a little hole up beside them. What hadn't been tore down.
Okay. Lenny, do you have anything else on that?
No, sir.
Yeah. We'll get.
And I know they're busy mowing and
Yeah.
all, so, that could be a fall project or something, but I just,
Well, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, and that's got to be done. Okay, moving right along. Item 6, other business. Mayor, council, and staff reports. I don't have an update at this time. Jimmy, do you have anything to discuss?
No,
Nothing for Jimmy?
nothing for me.
Lenny?
yes, I have a couple things.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just had a whole.
You would have disappointed me if you did.
You just had a whole entire.
Shut up, Randy. So, we need to have Public Works check the freezer out here in the cafeteria, to make sure we can get it down to temperature. We're gonna have ice cream for the dinner.
Yep.
And, make sure it's functioning. I'd like for them next week to check the AC. I think they're keeping it on, 80 right now?
No, they have it on like 78.
Is it? Okay, and it seems to be functioning properly, okay. And they're pressure washing
They started
the
today.
buildings? Did we ever get the pads for the floor cleaner?
Supposed to be shipped yesterday.
Okay. Because if they're not, I think next week we might need to
Rent.
rent one
rent
or
one, yeah.
something. I don't want to wait until
Right.
the last minute.
Last day, right.
And that's all.
Thank you. Lenny? Brandy, do you have anything?
Just 4th of July was a success. I really, really, really like the food truck idea. I really enjoyed our 4th of July.
Yep.
Also, it's our 100-year anniversary, and if you didn't know, Dustin Family Tie Creations has really cute shirts, 100-year Town of Pierson shirts. And then I was asked to set up a Christmas workshop for the Christmas event this year. I spoke to the Methodist preacher. He also threw out the idea if we would be interested in letting them do a live nativity this year with a donkey and some little sheep and stuff. And I told him that we would just set up a workshop and go over all of that stuff. So I'll get with them and see what works for them, and then come back to you guys for a date for the workshop, if that's okay.
Sounds good.
Other than that, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Brandy. Updates and reports by town attorney. Scott?
No comments.
No comment. Mark, updates from our town planner.
All I have to mention is that I'll be here on the 16th. It'll be the next time I'll be here to meet with people and talk to them about their land use and zoning, so 9 o'clock, July 16th.
9 o'clock? Okay. Yvonne, Ryan, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, just deliver some bad news. For the second year in a row, the governor decided not to fund any outdoor recreation grants. And so for the second year in a row, we did not get a FERDAP grant for the playground. I talked to a couple grant writers that said this was a sort of unprecedented thing, that they've never had it go 2 years before. I asked if I should bother to apply again since it's like a 10-month process, and she said, that's up to us. So I don't think they anticipate them again maybe next year. I did ask her if CDBG and state revolving fund were still being funded for projects like water, wastewater, because, you know, we do have some water improvements we would like to do. She said as far as she knew, most of those got funded as normal, but none of the outdoor recreation stuff. Also, in that same vein, when I had applied for the FERDAP grant, the idea was to use that as matching funds to get an ECHO grant. We got an email from Volusia County that says that the future of the ECHO program is now in dispute because the state is only allowing you to use, you know, ad valorem revenues on certain things. And so they don't even know if they're, you know, ECHO passed as a constitutional thing or a, you know, as a ballot thing, initiative. So there's some thought there that maybe they will still be able to do it because the voters chose to, you know, have ECHO, but they don't know if Tallahassee's going to let that stand or not. So they basically told me that's now up in the air. So
that's the thing. One of the big things I was referring to that a lot of people don't talk about,
right,
is the limitation of what tax dollars you do get.
Right.
You limit what you can spend.
So there's like there's 5 categories that you can actually use your property tax revenue on now, and there's a lot of holes in that are very ambiguous. Like public works is not called out anywhere. Parks and recreation is not called out in there.
Anything economic development.
Right. So, you know, we talk a lot about the rodeo grounds tonight. We talk a lot about Little League. Are we even going to be able to use town funds to put toilet paper in the bathroom over there, or mow the parks, or so there is some more questions. There is more bad news in that bill if it passes.
Yeah.
But just so you know, we tried, but for the foreseeable future, I mean, the quote just for the playground equipment alone was like $290,000. So unfortunately, you know, we removed the dangerous equipment. The hope was to replace it, but at this point in time, it is not in our budget, and the state did not fund the grant for it. So that's where we are at on that. Sorry to be.
I do think there's a good argument to keep ECHO because there are voter-approved debt that's out there where they voted and they pledged the taxing power, and they couldn't have. The people own those bonds, so they couldn't have gone in and...
One of the 5 categories is that you're allowed to pay for existing debt.
Existing debt, okay.
Yeah, so if you have obligations either through general obligation bonds or loans or grants or whatever stuff you're repaying, you are allowed to use tax revenue to pay that.
Isn't one of them environmental resources, though? So maybe some of the ECHO that buy, like the Volusia Forever stuff, that buys land and stuff like that, it's probably still good. But ECHO...
the other stuff is the question. The cultural element of it is the question.
That's not mentioned at all.
Yeah. And like Scott said, all that will probably be fought out in the courts because it's very ambiguous in the language of the bills as to what it means when they say essential, you know, is your playground and your parks department essential? It depends on who you ask. Some people utilize them, some people don't. But anyway, that's where we're at right now. We don't know. But we did not get funded this year. Even though we got recommended for funding, we did not get it. So.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yep.
Anything else, Yvonne? Okay, at this time, anyone
I'm sorry. A little bit of good news. We'll end on good news. Our new public works truck's getting delivered tomorrow.
Oh, good deal. Good deal. It's been a while.
See, I say good news for last.
12 weeks.
Wow.
It's been longer than 12 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been crazy.
Wow.
They're delivering it tomorrow, supposedly.
Good deal.
And the airport also, if anyone sees activity, At the airport, they did deliver their temporary helipad in pieces today. They'll be here tomorrow setting that up. CTS, Ronnie Council will be here to spread some millings out there for their temporary RVs. So the temporary stuff is moving forward. They're working on that this week.
Good deal.
So if you see anything out there, that's what it is.
Good deal. Thank you. Okay, at this time, good and welfare, is there any public, anyone in the audience have anything to say at this time? No? Nobody? Okay, well, got a few announcements to make. Our next regular council meeting will be Tuesday, July 21st at 6:30 p.m. There, and then again on Tuesday, August 4th at 6:30 p.m. The Planning Commission has a meeting on Tuesday, July 28th at 6 p.m. And we have a workshop scheduled for next Monday, 4. Okay, I want to thank everyone for attending the meeting tonight. And if there's no more business, this meeting is adjourned.